All right, now getting back into our program, I'd like to introduce Ivan Scalfarotto, who is the Italian Undersecretary of State. Ivan, such a pleasure. A big round of applause.
So, hello. Can you hear me? Yes? Does it work? It's a pleasure for me, of course, to represent the Italian government and the Ministry of Economic Development today. It's a pleasure to be here, especially in Chicago. It was great to hear from Mayor Emanuel about the progresses and the growth of the city, which is a city that we know is one of the leading capitals of the world. It was great to hear, and it really struck me to know that so many students, that more than 140,000 students every year want to come to live and work in this city. It was interesting to hear that so many businesses are relocating to Chicago. And I think this is really a great place to be, and I'm very pleased for the choice of being here in Chicago, as Ambassador Verrecchio said. Of course, I also appreciate Chicago for its culture. Of course, the place where we are, this university. I know you have a great symphony orchestra. Today, together with President Renzi, we're going to visit the Art Institute. I'm also very proud to tell you that Italy was one of the major participants in the architectural biennial that was held last year in Chicago. And by the way, in this city, you chose as the most beautiful skyscraper in the world, the vertical forest that was built in Milan. So I think there is a great combination between Chicago, its wealth, its activities, its business, and its culture, and Italy, which of course is a blend of history, culture, tradition, but also technology, innovation. And you saw by coming in how many machines and robotics, automation we can produce. And I think, you know, the combination is not just between, of course, Chicago and Italy, but all the United States and Italy. And actually, the United States is a very, very important partner for us. Last year, between 2014 and 2015, the exchange, the trade exchange between the two countries grew up significantly. I would say dramatically, was plus 18%. And the total amount of the exchange between the two countries went well above 50 billion euros. And of course, we exported for 36 billion euros in the US, so you will appreciate how important this is for us. And in fact, of course, we also expect that in the future, things may even get better. As you all know, in Brussels, and there are negotiations going on for the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, the so-called TTIP. This is a treaty that might create in the future fantastic opportunities and jobs, because it's going to create probably the largest free trade area in the world, putting together 2/3 of the product, of the gross product of the world, and create jobs and opportunities. And also, of course, putting companies on both sides of the pond in the best position to invest and get more opportunities. Of course, negotiations are going on, and we expect that both the United States of America and the European Union will be brave and ambitious to create an open, balanced, equally satisfactory treaty so that we can bring the two markets together. And so the Italian government has made a very significant effort on the United States. We invested some $60 million in 2015, and we're going to invest a similar amount in 2016 and 2017 to open up the American market to Italian companies. Italian Trade Agency, which is one of the organizers today, has made a fantastic job in creating agreements, in putting in place agreements between American retailers and Italian producers, so that the customers in the United States can find our products on the shelves. We are, of course, supporting Italian producers in their presence in international fairs in the United States of America, and more we're going to do. But we also want, of course, to focus on this specific industry. This is a fantastic industry. We have more than 400 companies working on automation and robotics in Italy. They employ 32,000 people. They produce an amount of about 6 billion euros, and more than 2/3 of this amount, about 4 billion euros, are exported abroad. And you know what? The United States of America is the market for this industry in Italy. And so I think this is one of the many reasons why it is very important that today you have a chance to meet with each other. Of course, Italy wants also to be a place which is friendlier than it used to be for international investors. We're trying to attract investments also to our country. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to be in Boston together with President Renzi to sign an agreement with IBM. They're going to make a big investment in the area of Milan, which is, by the way, my hometown, to develop a center of research, especially for health data in Milan. So we're doing a lot. And by the way, the Prime Minister was talking about the reforms we've made. And before joining the Ministry of Economic Development, I used to work for constitutional reforms. And we have really done a lot. We have a new electoral system. And this is going to make Italy, as Renzi was saying, a much more stable country. You know that in Europe, we're having countries like Spain, and they are waiting for a new government for 4 months at this moment. With the new electoral system in Italy, we will know who's going to run the country on the very same day of the elections. We have reformed the constitution to streamline decision-making processes. We are reforming the judiciary system to make sure that in case of suits, businesses and international investors can get a final decision in a reasonable time. We are reforming the public administration so that every time an entrepreneur or a citizen needs an answer from the government, the answer comes quickly and it is clear. So if you have to speak with different bodies, those bodies from the government first speak to each other and then come back to you. So we really want to exploit the potential, and we want to make sure that more business happens between Italy and in the United States, in both directions. This is why I really think this is a very important meeting today. Of course, you have here Italian companies, you have here American companies, you have parties that might be interested to talk together, and I'm sure opportunities will stem from the day we're spending together. So I just want to wish again to everyone a good day of discussion. Of course, this I-cubed Impact, Innovate, Integrate is a very attracting, very appealing subject for the evening. And so again, I wish you, on behalf of the Italian government, a great and productive day. And thank you.